Attorney General Pam Bondi wandered over to the upper chamber for a little bit of Epstein question and no answer session with the senators. Let's roll B1 here. Retiring Dick Durbin.
Attorney General Bondi, why did you publicly claim to have the Epstein client list waiting for your review and then produce nothing relevant to that claim?
Senator Durbin, if you listen to my entire clip on that, I said I had not reviewed it yet, that it was sitting on my desk along with the JFK files, the Martin Luther King files, and I said I had not yet reviewed it.
Why was the July 7th memo unsigned?
The July 7th memo came from the FBI and the Department of Justice. Director Patel answered those questions very clear. And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations?
I will quarrel with you as to Reid, somebody that you mentioned I never heard of.
Reid Hoffman.
So who gave the order to flag records related to President Trump?
To flag records for President Trump?
To flag any records which included his name.
I'm not going to discuss anything about that with you, Senator.
Eventually, you're going to have to answer for your conduct in this. And you won't do it today, but eventually you will.
Can't imagine who would have given that order. Can you?
I mean, it's hard to say. There's so many possibilities. Actually, you know what's funny is there are really so many possibilities. It could have been anyone who wanted to protect the president other than the president, or you just don't even need to say anything.
Yeah, right. That's true. There's Sheldon Whitehouse, also a little bit of back and forth. Let's roll B2.
There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein? Come on.
The question is, did the FBI find those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him? You don't know anything about that. Okay.
If you weren't watching that, her face at the end,
Yeah,
did you
she's
see
like,
that? She looked like she was in physical pain.
This also underscores why it would be cool to have an actual opposition party, because so Reid Hoffman, for people who don't know, he's the LinkedIn billionaire and has spent ungodly amounts of money trying to smash the left wing, the populist wing of the Democratic Party. So just figuring out ways to go after specifically Bernie Sanders, AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, the whole squad, and anybody who's remotely adjacent to them. So that was Reid Hoffman's project. His whole idea is we're going to beat Trump by first smashing the populist wing of the Democratic Party, because in his theory, well, he had, I think, two theories. One is that he doesn't like the populist wing because they want to tax people. They don't like oligarchs. But his actual surface argument was those are unpopular people, and Democrats would be more popular if it's just like the Dick Durbins and the White Houses of the world who don't really say anything offensive to anybody, and then they will win just by not being Trump. So that's this billionaire who became deeply involved in Democratic politics and was also tight with this creep Epstein. So
Believe it or
again,
not.
like, imagine if you had just an opposition party that could cleanly say, we don't have anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Because he represents the oligarch class.
Right.
And
right.
we're not with them.
Right.
But you're not going to find Mamdani on a plane with Epstein. And it doesn't have anything to do with personal morality. It's just they're not floating around with the oligarchs. So it kind of allows this tap dance that Bondi's doing, yet it's still completely unconvincing. It's like, where are the photos? Where's the photos? There's just photos. Where are the photos? You said you've got them on your desk.
Right.
Like, where are they?
Right. No, I mean, actually, I think that point is important, that even with that ammunition, Pam Bondi comes into this hearing knowing that White House, for example, is connected with Reed Epstein, and that actually Dick Durbin has fought Marsha Blackburn in the past when Democrats were in power over the flight logs. All that's true, but Pam Bondi still had this complete, she was doing one of two things. She was either deflecting to blame Dems for their own connections or for their own corruption, which, as Ryan points out, there's plenty to work with. But it looks like a deflection. Or, as we saw at the end of that clip, she's just not answering. She's just standing there or sitting there blank-faced or saying, I don't know, I don't know. Adam Schiff, of all people, speaking of the
Shifty Schiff.
Speaking of corrupt Democrats, let's go ahead and roll Adam Schiff. What I would say, actually, I can't believe I'm even saying this, like getting the better of Pam Bondi in this exchange.
Shifty Schiff is good in these hearings for the most part. Even if he's not always, on the up and up.
Theater kid, maybe that's what this is. All right, B3.
You were asked whether you consulted with career ethics lawyers, as you promised you would do during your nomination hearing, when you approved the president receiving a $400 million gift from the Qataris. You refused to answer that question. You were asked who or what role you may have played or who played the role in asking that Trump's name be flagged in any of the Epstein documents gathered by the FBI. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Holman kept the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Holman paid taxes on the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked, did career prosecutors find insufficient evidence to charge James Comey? You refused to answer that question. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing.
Oversight?
Excuse me, you can attack me after my time is over.
You've attacked all of us, including President Trump, for your entire
You can attack me later, and I know you've got plenty of canned attacks. We've heard them all day to day.
Canned attacks on you?
This is supposed to be...
No one needs a canned attack on you.
Regular order, Madam Chair. I'm trying to speak. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing of the Justice Department. And it comes in the wake of an indictment called for by the president of one of his enemies. This is supposed to be an oversight hearing, and it comes in the wake of revelations that a top administration official took $50,000 in a bag, and this department made that investigation go away.
Oversight. It's like, we're talking practice?
Oversight.
We're talking practice? So she got more questions about Tom Homan. This is what Adam Schiff was alluding to. We can go ahead and roll B4.
Is there a tape that has audio and video of the transfer of the $50,000?
You would have to talk to Director Patel about that.
No, I'm talking to you.
I don't know the answer, Senator.
Yeah, you do know the answer to that.
Don't call me a liar.
I didn't call you a liar.
You just said I know the answer. I said I don't know the answer.
Well,
you have to talk to Director Patel. What I said is that investigation was closed.
If you don't know, why don't you know whether there was a tape and video?
Senator, I believe that was resolved prior to my confirmation as Attorney General.
Do you think that it is of public interest for the people to know what happened to the $50,000 that the FBI turned over to Homan?
Did you hear what I just said? That was resolved prior to my confirmation as Attorney General. That's why I said I would not know.
It's not resolved. There's $50,000. Homan has it, or somebody has it. Do you have no interest in knowing where it is?
You're not going to sit here and slander Tom Homan.
Well,
Tom Homan did nothing wrong.
They did indeed continue to ask questions about Tom Homan, and she will continue to get asked questions about Tom Homan. There's no doubt about that, Ryan. And I mean, the Epstein story is really the best illustration of the situation that people like Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and others find themselves in. Because they tagged along in MAGA world with this idea of draining the swamp and dismantling the deep state. And whether or not they were ever sincere or they ever thought Trump was truly sincere about that, they now find themselves in this position. And Epstein is the best illustration of it, of being the deep state and being defensive of their actions as part of the deep state. And so not only does it allow Democrats to have this new, I don't know if I can call it moral high ground. I don't really think anyone has the moral high ground here, but this ability to sort of claim the populist mantle and say, we're trying to get questions about, or we're trying to get answers about all of this different corruption, whether it's Epstein, whether it's a bribe in a kava bag, which is the allegation around Tom Homan. And Bondi's doing her best to undercut it by pointing out, hey, you guys have problems too, but she's the one in power now.
Right, and also, where's the $50,000 that was in the kava bag?
It's still in the kava bag.
It's a very hard question to what about?
Yeah.
Like,
haven't you taken 50 grand in a kava bag?
let me just start over, because this one apparently is too confusing for you to just answer directly. Where's the $50,000 that was in the kava bag that he took in order to steer contracts?
Well, and are they even saying that he did take it? Like, we don't have a lot of ideas about.
Yeah, the reporting was that he took it.
Right, but is the DOJ right now saying that he actually took it or that he didn't? Because
they're not saying.
Right,
although
not
the White House at
anything.
one point said that's misinformation.
Right.
But it's like, okay, well, that's your opinion, man.
And Homan has said, I did nothing criminal, I did nothing illegal. So it sounds like Homan
'cause the
probably
charges-
accepted a bag. I will say,
with $50,000.
Right. I will say there's some stuff in this story you could potentially, I don't know what percentage chance this is, but you could potentially look at entrapment, but they're not saying enough to, I mean, if it was a cut and dry entrapment case, they would be out there talking about how Tom Homan was entrapped by the deep state. So
They should have asked if he wanted to like blow up a bridge with his paintball buddies.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.